Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my shop. All right, and welcome everyone. This is my 1949 Chevrolet 3100 half-ton pickup, and I've been doing a series on preventative maintenance on this for the last couple months, and I believe this is like part 6 or part 7. I'm not real sure, but I did somewhere along the line here. But today we're going to try to button him up. We're going to look for the leaking ball housing where it's leaking at and fix that while we have it still up. We're going to grease we're going to grease everything that needs greasing underneath. We're going to check all of our connections, nuts, bolts, and everything. Recheck the rear brakes and get it back down like it is now and get it ready for the road. So stay tuned and watch how we do it. Alright, before we get started on the Chevy, I want to do a little update on the GMC. I had it out the other night, and then parking lights, turn signals did great. They're definitely well worth what I put into them. Also, I took it to a cruise-in, another cruise-in, about 10 miles away. Met a whole lot of nice folks, good folks, and I would have documented it, but well, the last time I did a vlog on a cruise-in that I went to, it really didn't get many views, so I don't think there's much interest in it. But anyway, it did good. My left rear shock busted off up at the top, so I'm going to have to address that, and I believe I may explore putting a radio in it. If I'm going to keep cruising this thing, I need a radio. So anyway, that's the update on the GMC. Now let's get back over there on the Chevy. All right, let's get this floor covering off so I can get down in here and get easy access to that transmission. Now, I kind of thought about not doing this, but then again, I thought, well, why not? All right, I could go under it, but I need to inspect it good anyway. There we go. Definitely looking around the ball there. All right. All right, I don't know if you can see, I'll move that light back a little bit. It's really wet right here. So I'm gonna feel around and see if I can feel exactly where the source is. Well, it's not around the ball, so I'm tempted to think it's around this coupler. And you know, I didn't put any sealer on that gasket. And I believe that's what I'm going to do. So let's explore what it's going to take to do that. I may take a look underneath. All right, I'm underneath, and I don't know if you can tell, but it looks dry on the cork seal around the ball housing. So it's where the housing bolts to the transmission is, it looks like it's the wettest. There's a little bit back here around this seal, but you know, if you look here at my exhaust my exhaust pipe, the crossover, you can see where it's the heaviest concentration is right there. So I do not want to move or remove that cross member. I think I've got a way where I can get to that and put some sealer on that joint there. So let's see. All right, I've really found my two lower bolts were somewhat loose. They were I probably was able to turn them 2 full turns to tighten them. And that's this bottom one here, and then I tightened up the nut. That's after I threaded it through and tightened it up, and also on the other side. These 2 top ones weren't too bad, but those bottom ones were. So I've dried it off real good now, and I'm going to refill this the ball housing part, and I'm sure the transmission's going to need some too. All right. This plug here is the for the ball housing. And if I'm not mistaken, it calls for maybe a pint or so. I'll probably guesstimate how much I'm going to put in there. I'm not going to put it up to where it fills to the top, but we'll guesstimate about a pint. All right. And this is your regular transmission fill right here. Well, at least I got some nuts and bolts tight. I know he's not going to start running out. I know he's got to be low. It's the way this thing was leaking, so we'll see how much we'll put in. I know it says 8590, but it's actually 8090. I just like this container. And I've got it measured here, so I know how much basically I'm putting in. So let's, we'll put some in here until I see it coming out. There we go. I think we're finally getting it. There we go. We can drain into there. All right. I should have put a drip can down there. And I'll tell you how much I put in here in a moment. Let's see how much I put in there. All right, I put about 24 ounces in it. That's quite a bit. All right, I'm not going to put a whole lot that back in here, but we'll put some. That's not what I want. Better off without it, it seems like. All right, let me see how much I put in there. Let's see, 24. We'll put a little bit more in there. When I said 24 ounces, it was more like 14. My math is getting a little off. Alright. We'll let him drain. All right, I'm going to show you a close-up of the ball housing fill, which is right here. And that's the transmission fill right there. All right. Now I put about 6 ounces down here. I put about 14 ounces in the transmission. I'll figure that out pints wise. But that means he was pretty low, and it was leaking a lot. You know, this transmission, it loses fluid naturally anyway. What it does is when the gears are splashing around inside there, they go over like a bulkhead and replenishes the oil that's in the ball housing that lubes the U-joint, or trunnion as it's called in the manual. The reason why it does that is because the oil that's in the ball housing will run down the torque tube, and it lubricates 2 or 3 bushings in the torque tube that the propeller shaft or drive shaft rides on. So eventually fluid's going to leak all the way down, and there's seals in the torque tube to keep the oil from going all the way down to the rear end. But it does, you know, they're not perfect seals, so oil will escape. And every time I've checked my rear end, I've never had to add it, but luckily it's not increased that much either. Well, primarily because it leaks. So anyway, so far I don't see any fresh oil down there. We'll see. We'll check the other side. Now granted, that 8090 will take a little bit of time to drain through anything, but so far it seems to be holding. So hopefully my problem on my leak was just that I didn't really tighten down those 4 bolts good enough, especially the 2 lower ones. And there's a lot of stress put on that junction there, because there's a mount on the back of the transmission that hits that cross member that secures the transmission and drive line to the frame. And so any jostling and everything, there's a lot of movement up here. So I can see where if those loose nuts and bolts, where that you know, where this ball housing is going up and down, you know, because of the rear end, it's going to cause that to be loose, and it's going to cause it to leak. So hopefully I found it. We'll know. I didn't want to take that off again anyway. All right, it's been roughly about 2 hours. Greased up the front end, went back here to the back end, greased it up, readjusted those rear brakes again. I wanted more pedal. Cleaned up some other stuff underneath the truck, and came back, and so far there's not a drop. So perhaps tightening up them nuts and bolts fix that leak problem. So anyway, for those of you that that are new to the stove bolt series of trucks, this is your master cylinder access, and there's your master cylinder there. I've shown this on previous episodes, so you can look back, or well, this is how you service it. I'm going to check mine, and then I'm going to put the floorboard and everything back together. Check the battery. We're going to check the fluid level. Got one that looks low. All right. Rest look good. It's ready to come down off the jack stands. There she is, on her fours. Well, all right, she's on all fours again. I believe she's ready to go out and do some road testing as soon as I do a little bit of it. Needs some serious cleaning though. And there's a few other things I want to do to it while I got it down. But I can do it with it not on the jacks. Well, all right. This is my part 6 or part 7 of the preventative maintenance or PM series I've been doing on this 49 Chevrolet pickup truck. And if this is the first video you're seeing, if you're new to my channel and you haven't seen the previous ones, the previous vlogs or episodes dealt with me changing the oil, checking and regapping the plugs, checking, cleaning, and regapping the points, adjusting the carburetors, adjusting the timing, and installing a bypass oil filter, installing a PCV system, replacing the front brakes, adjusting all 4 brakes, rotating the tires, greasing the chassis and steering linkages and the leaf springs, and went looking for what was causing a leak around the rear of my transmission at the ball housing, and found loose bolts. So I tightened them up, cleaned it up, refilled the transmission and the ball housing with 80/90, and after 2 hours, no leaks. So perhaps I've got that fixed too. So I'm bringing this series to a conclusion with that, and I've taken it down off the jack stands, and it's sitting all 4 of its baloney skins now, ready to go out and do some running and see if I didn't advance that timing too much. So like I said, if you're new to it, you can go back and look at the other ones. I tried to detail each procedure so it would make it easy for those of you that haven't done this before. Those of you that have, well, you can leave a comment and agree or disagree with what I said. That won't be the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last. And some of the modifications I've done, like the PCV and the bypass oil filter, you can it'll detail that somewhat too. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, where you watch an old timer work on an old trucks and do it on the cheap, well, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and comment and I'll try to answer each and every one. YouTube is kind of slow on giving me notifications, so I don't actually get to them immediately, but I try to to address each and every comment. So anyway, I'm about ready to get this thing out on the road and see what I can do with it. And I've been running my 49 GMC now since I've had the Chevy up on jack stands for a couple months, and a couple of things have cropped up on it I want to deal with too. So he's going to move over here and the Chevy over there. One other thing I want to do to the Chevy is I want to give it a good cleaning, and then I'm going to give it a coating of linseed oil to see if that might make it shine a little bit. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good one. We'll see you around on the next one. See you.